Alright everybody, I'm going to be showing you my latest clear on Apocalypse of Annihilation the Final Boss. First of all, let's cover my build. I'm running Challenger and Alchemist. I love Liquid Courage. Chains of Amplification increase all damage dealt to targets suffering from a status effect. Azania's Malice, dealing weak spot damage, increases weak spot damage by 10% for 7 seconds, stacking 3 times. This helps because of the primary weapon I'm using. The mod on it is basically like a really powerful precision shot. So I get 3 in a row. So it's bam, bam, bam with increasing damage each time. Plus, I'm going to put a bleed debuff on the boss first. And because of my amulet, that means I'm going to be doing 20% additional damage on top of that. So these things are going to stack. Stone of Balance increases all damage by 7%. Probability Cord increases crit damage by 30%. And Timekeeper's Jewel increases the duration of all status effects applied by the wearer. Duration varies per status. So I want the bleed debuff to be on there as long as possible because I'm doing extra damage per my amulet to anything that's under a status effect. For my primary weapon, I am using the Merciless maxed out with Bloodline and Twisting Wounds. Completely maxed out Twisting Wounds. I'm going to get bleed times 2. You're going to see that debuff times 2 on the boss as we're taking him down. The melee weapon doesn't matter, and I'm using the Enigma just specifically to take out the orbs and nothing else. So let's get to it, shall we? This is almost a 9-minute encounter, and I had a pretty clean run on this one. So this was a fun fight. I grew to like this fight. I didn't like it at first. So I'm going to put the bleed debuff on first, obviously, and then just hammer him as much as I can with the Merciless. I'm not going to use a single ammo crate either. Here we switch to the Enigma just to take out those orbs. I always reload the Enigma after I take out the orbs because I never want to be in a situation where he spawns orbs and I switch to the Enigma and it's not reloaded. So you'll see I switched to the mod there and did increasing weak spot damage there 3 times in a row. It says bleed times 2 on him. You'll see his health is going down pretty quickly. Honestly, it's just kind of like a sprint to get through this first phase. The real threat is the second phase. All of his moves, once you learn them here in phase 1, get pretty easy and predictable and pretty basic to avoid. Look at that, 2,300 damage with the mod there because of our damage stacking. And I did end up turning the music off for this fight. Actually, I keep it off all the time now. I did for my entire Apocalypse run. And this is not the build I ran this time through my Apocalypse clear. The build I was running was double shotgun all the way here. So even like Venom and Cancer before this fight, I was running double shotgun for. And then since he ran Thick Skin and Regenerator, I was like, you know what? I can't do a double shotgun. It was like an elemental build, elemental status effect. Against this guy. I need something that's going to keep his regeneration off the table. So I ended up switching to the bleed build, and I was very pleased with how it worked. So I did a video on my bleed build, and I've refined a couple of things since then. So you can refer to the beginning of this video to see what I changed about it. But a lot of people were not impressed by that bleed build, but here it is with a couple of minor changes. Here we are on Apocalypse mode, taking down Annihilation, no problem. There's a fly in my face bothering me. Orb spawn, whip out the Enigma, take them all down, and immediately reload it. Like I said, I didn't end up using any consumables at all in this fight. No ammo boxes, nothing. I just ran around the map and picked up red ammo when I needed to. Because I know a lot of people, that's their biggest complaint about the Merciless, is the ammo economy because of the rate of fire on it. And one thing to keep in mind is that you do have to lead your shots with the Merciless as well. Because they do have travel time. It's not like hit scan. Look at that, 2,300 damage, 2,300, and boom. Oh, I love those big red numbers. He splits his head. Now, very first thing I do, every time you transfer here, all status effects are removed from him. So very first thing I do is go back to putting the status effect bleed on him. Listen for the shing, stand between the bars. It's really important to use your weapon mod as much as possible in this fight. Otherwise, you're just extending this fight for no good reason. Run around grabbing ammo when I can. Listen for the shing, do the dodge. I'm going to dodge this one since I was in the middle instead of ducking underneath it. This one you have to keep an eye for where those mortars come from. They came from right to left that time, so I'm going to dodge to the right through them. sometimes they spawn from front to back, so you want to dodge forward. Every time he transfers you, actually, he transferred me into one of where this mortar strikes was just coming down, so I unfortunately took a hit there. There's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes you're just unlucky. He just teleported me into a mortar. You can't plan for that. Here come the bars. I'm going to dodge through them. Keep that bleed debuff on him. See, this time the mortar spawned front to back, and I got to keep that in mind for when he teleports me back. It's going to be in the middle of that attack again. Taking an unnecessary hit there. But still haven't used the Challenger Prime ability yet. Listen for the ding and then dodge when he spawns the orbs. Listen for the ding and then dodge. When you take them all down, he's going to give you some free damage right here. It's not a long, damage phase. But if you manage to take down all those orbs, he will fall to the ground and let you get some free damage in on him. Spawns orbs. And remember, I didn't reload the Enigma this time. So I had to switch to the Merciless to clean those up. And now I'm going to be like, no, I got to make sure I reload the Enigma. So I switch back to it, dodge a couple of attacks, and make sure I get that thing reloaded. Just because if he ends up doing the orbs in this room, there's a lot more of them. I can't afford to waste time reloading the thing. I ended up activating my weapon mod there, and I didn't know this. But when you do that, if you're crouching, it stands you up. So I was crouched underneath those bars for the grid to go over me, and then I activated my my weapon mod, and it ended up making me stand up and take damage there. I was like, whoa, lesson learned. I'll keep that in mind. Vine attack. If he puts his hand on top of the hilt and shoves it down, those vines are going to come out and grab you. So you have to dodge to the side, laterally, not forward and back, or else they'll grab you. Try to get as much damage as I can in with the weapon mod. Shing, dodge. Grab some ammo. We've got him under half here. Watch for the grids. Whew. Every time he teleports you, he's in the middle of an attack, so you gotta keep that in mind. I'm trying to stay out of that pool for the debuff. This time the mortars were front to back, so I dodged forward. And here we go. We got orb time, so I'm going to reload the Merciless so that when I get done with breaking the orbs, I can do as much damage as possible when he falls to the ground. I hear the ding, so I do the dodge. Then he ends up teleporting me back here, and I take a big smack. But since I run Challenger and heavier armor, I'm able to not go down to that hit. Still haven't used the Challenger Prime skill. I know that when he teleports me back to the other realm, I'm going to have to deal with what's left of those orbs. But since he teleported me out, I'm not going to get the free damage phase here. So I'll break the last one. There's no more left, but he doesn't fall to the ground here. Again, I got pretty lucky that I was completely full health there, or else that would have put me down. Try to keep that bleed on him as much as possible. I don't want him to regenerate health very much. Here comes the swipe. Switch to the weapon mod. Try and get some good damage in. I'm looking around on the ground to see where red ammo is, because I'm trying to think ahead. I know I've got one magazine left in reserves here. Here comes the grid. I'm going to duck underneath it. Save my stamina. Whew. That swipe can hurt. I'm trying to grab this ammo. There it is. Mortars were right to left, so I'm going to dodge to the right. Put as much damage into him there while he stands still as I can. I've got 2 uses left on the relic, and I still have my Challenger Prime skill pocketed. And we're not even going to use it. We don't actually go down at all during this fight all the way. Take a couple hits, but never go down. Never had to use the prime skill. That feels good. So there you have it. That's my Apocalypse clear of Annihilation with my bleed build. Hopefully you maybe gleaned something from that, found it helpful. And best of luck to you in your endeavors in getting this thing done. I'll be sure to do like a review of the Star Killer to let you know if it's worth your time to play through this on Apocalypse and get that gun. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate your support, especially on this channel, which went from like, you know, getting 40 views a day to getting tens of thousands of views a day with the Remnant content, and that's all because of your support. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching the videos, hitting the like button, subscribing to it. All that stuff is very, very helpful, and I appreciate it more than you know. Hey, we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.